Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananaham Tva Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kafinamupamastravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anasrinvan Utibhisedasadanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vajebhir Vajinivati Dhinama Vitrayavatu Ganesaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Ekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Yasyad Viradavakradhyaha Parishadhyaha Parasatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Anjananandanam Biram Janaki Sokanasanam Kapi Samakshahantaram Bande Lanka Bhayankaram Anjaneya Mati Patalananam Kanjanadri Kamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarmulavasinam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Varanane Sri Ramanama Varanana Om Nama Iti Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Krita Mastakanjalim Bashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Maritim Namata Rakshasantakam. So Kaikeyi told Dasharatha firmly, in a very strong manner, in a very obstinate, resolute manner, that if you are adamant and if you go ahead and complete the coronation of Rama tomorrow, then I am determined to kill myself, to end my life in the presence of the whole assembly of people. This is my vow, and this shall happen. Dasharatha was watching Kaikeyi raging and swearing and angry, and she was frightening to look at. But he could not bring out the anger that was within him, nor could he suppress the anger that was coming out of him, that was surging in him. He was like Emperor Bali, who promised 3 feet to the land, 3 feet of land to Bhagavan in the form of Vamana, but discovered that he really could not fulfill that promise, for Vamana has measured the entire earth with 1 foot, the entire sky with another foot, and stood asking for the 3rd foot of land that had been gifted to him. Dasharatha was afraid, was tremendously afraid, fearful of the curse that was waiting on him, because he was going to break the rule of Dharma. His eyesight dimmed, he could not see properly, he was in utter despair, and his head all of a sudden became very heavy, for the shoulders could not carry his head anymore. He shouted in absolute helpless, impotent anger, so to speak. "You vile woman," he said, "you sinful woman, if the coronation of Rama is cancelled, then my death is a certainty," he said. "And after that, you can rule over the kingdom as a widow, as freely as you wish." Then he said, crying out, Oh Rama, has it come to this stage where I have to send you with my own consent and agreement and concurrence into the forest? No, no, I will not send you, Rama. I will not send you. I will rather give up my life. I cannot keep alive a moment even separate from you, Rama. You vicious demon, she said, you Rakshasi, he was turning to Kaikeyi. How could your heart even entertain this plan, this wicked, evil, cruel plan of sending my lovely and tender Rama into the thick forest filled with wild jungle and wild animals? Then, what a monster you have become, what a demon, what a Rakshasi you have become, you were shouting. Then, with that, he lost consciousness, he swooned and fell on the ground. Now, night was melting away to meet with dawn. The 9 instruments of music that are played at the palace gate, which is the way the royalty is greeted. The 9 instruments of music are played, and they started playing. They were heralding, welcoming the dawn of a beautiful day. It was going to be a day of joy. Then all the roads, in Ayodhya, they were all getting showers of rose water. People were sprinkling rose water on them. And then the whole air was thick with fragrance of flowers. And then there was festive noise, happy, joyous noise, sound all around. The sky itself, as it dawned, looked like it was charged with hope and excitement. The constellation of Pushya, the Pushya Nakshatram, rose as the star of the sky at the dawn time. Then, the moment the Pushya Nakshatra rose from in the sky, immediately Sage Vasishtha took his disciples and he went to the Sarayu river because he had to take the ceremonial bath. And then he returned from there with carrying the purified, consecrated water on which Veda Mantram has been applied to, and then he brought that water necessary for the coronation, because it's going to require sacred holy water. Then he was passing along, he was walking along the royal road, the road that leads to the palace, where the citizens all over had gathered to witness the sacred water being carried by Vasishtha and his disciples. And then the palace gods immediately cleared the way for the pandits, for the sage and his disciples to go through. And then they entered the royal palace. And the main gate was thickly decorated, beautifully decorated. They entered through the main gate into the royal palace. Now, even it is very early hour, it was just dawn time, and then the various open spaces within the palace were all filled with, the priests were there, sages were there, various sub-rulers were there, representatives of the various people, and elders. They were all present already in that big, wherever there was open space in the hall, the people were already gathered. They all occupied the seats that had been allocated and allotted to them. And the scholars were all reciting Vedic hymns they were walking on the streets, coming to the palace, and you can see the Vedic hymns being echoing from the skies. Then Vasishtha beckoned, he called Sumantra and the minister and told them, go, the auspicious hour that has been fixed for the coronation rite now is approaching. We have to conduct many preliminary rituals before we can do the coronation. Go and inform the Maharaja that his presence is urgently required. Convey the message that Vasishtha is waiting for his arrival. That's the message Vasishtha has conveyed through Sumantra. Sumantra, of course, is an old, faithful, and close friend of Dasaratha. So he had the freedom to enter even the Antapuram, even the innermost apartments of the palace. So he hurried into the chambers where Queen Kaikeyi was present, and he was searching for the emperor. He entered the hall, and where normally the royal beds would be, But then, when he saw that, Sumantra was absolutely shocked. He didn't know what was happening. Because he thought he saw there the emperor had fallen on the floor. He was thinking, am I seeing right? Such an auspicious, beautiful, joyous occasion. Am I really seeing that King Dasaratha had fallen on the floor? So he was kind of shaken up, shook up for a minute. Then he steadied himself, went near the king and said, Maharaja, this morning must find you, like the sea at moonrise, so ecstatic and peaceful and blooming with happiness and joy and peace. I don't understand why you're lying on the ground. And the auspicious hour, Muhurta Neram, is coming, is approaching. The great sage Vasishtha himself, and along with his disciple, they are all ready for you to come. They're all waiting for their roles to perform. They're waiting for you to arrive in the hall of coronation. Come on, get up, rise up, wear your royal dress and royal robes and jewels and all that, and come into the hall, accompanied by the three queens in royal splendor. Come on, Maharaja. The sage Vasishtha ordered me now to bring you into the holy presence of the throne. There the royal throne is there. Then, as Sumantra was making his request like this, Dasaratha just could not contain himself. He burst out in grief and sadness. He was weeping aloud, so aloud that it was incredible. Then he spoke to Sumantra. Between the various crying and sobbing that he was doing, Sumantra, your praise pierces my heart. It is so painful to me, he says. And Sumantra was again shook up. He was frozen as if he couldn't understand. He could not take a step forward, neither could he take a step backward, because he did not know what was happening. He folded his arms in prayerful worship and said, Maharaja, why? What has happened? Now, at a time when you have to be immersed in Ananda, you have to be so joyous and blissful, why the sadness and grief? Why are you weeping? Why are you crying? What is the reason, Maharaja? I don't understand. Please tell me. Then Sumantra was absolutely hopeless. He was seeing Maharaja crying. He was also very sorrowful, very, very, very sad. Then Kaikeyi intervened and she said, Oh, Sumantra, the best of ministers, she addressed him. This emperor spent the entire night here without sleep. He was anxious about Rama. If you can go immediately and bring Rama with you here, then the mystery will be revealed. I am telling you this. Don't misunderstand me. But bring Rama here quickly. Sumantra, what will he do? Sumantra, he took her instruction as a command of the king himself. So he hurried. He walked so fast to the residence where Rama was. Now, as he entered that palace, he saw on both sides of the passageway, attendants were there, maids were there. They were all carrying gold plates, huge gold plates containing gifts of silk, brocade, jewels and gems, garlands and bouquets, scents and fragrances and sweets. Different plates, they were all carrying in their hand. When you look at it, it was so auspicious and so mangalagaram it was, very pleasing to the eye. But Sumantra did not stop even for a trice, even for a second to look at them, because he hurried into the palace. And he was feeling intuitively there was something lacking in all this festivity, something missing, and he did not know what it was. He could feel it, but he did not know what it was. He was overwhelmed by that anxious thing that is knobbing you at the back, you don't know what it is. So with that, the morning when Vasishtha ordered him to go and bring the Maharaja, how happy he was. That happiness and joy now had vanished. Instead, he was miserable. He was sorrowful. He was sad. There was something nagging him that something is not right, something is not right, something is not right. So he rode in his chariot towards where Rama's palace was. He noticed hundreds of thousands of loyal citizens who had filled the streets already. They were all talking among themselves. And what were they talking? They were saying, Sumantra now is on his way to bring Rama to the coronation hall for the ceremony. That is what they were all. They were joyous. They were very happy when they saw Sumantra's chariot going towards Rama's palace. And he saw their faces. Everybody was, it's not blooming with joy and happiness. It's already bloomed. They were so happy and joyous, expecting this momentous occasion that they've been waiting for. And they were personally witnessing such an auspicious, momentous occasion. They were very happy. They didn't even blink their eyes because they thought if I blink my eye, I might miss something very important. So they were looking so happy. Sumantra then finally arrived at Rama's palace and he stepped into it. Now, he could of course walk wherever he wanted to go without nobody could stop him because he had that right. And in all sections, and that was Rama's palace was a 7-storied mansion. It had 7 floors. And just as a fish dives noiselessly without making the slightest wisp of a sound as it dives in water, he walked through the depths of the palace. And he glided through the corridors and through the various halls of that palace without making the slightest noise. Now, within the palace, and the Rama's companions were all already elated. They were very happy, and they were all wearing not only the costumes and the attire and the dress and they were wearing, but their face, their body language, they were all filled with joy. And they were very bright, because when you're joyous and happy, automatically there is a light that comes out of you. So they were very bright, and they were wearing, of course, splendid robes and waiting to accompany Rama to the hall of coronation. They were all waiting there. Then Sumantra went into the apartments that was even deeper beyond the halls where the companions were waiting, further into the innermost apartments, Antapuram. And there he saw Rama. Rama was seated on a golden cot. And look at him, there was Paranjyoti, the Devika Jyoti that was emanating from him, divine splendor. He looked at him, and then Sita was standing by his side. Gently she was fanning him with a fan, handheld fan. She was fanning him. And Rama he was shining like the moon, like a Chandravadana, he was. And how did he appear to Sumantra? Like the moon shines along with the star. We call it Aruntadi, the Chitrai. That along with how the moon shines with the star next to it, that's how Rama and Sita appeared to him. Of course, Sumantra was in a great hurry because he had seen a sight which nobody could even imagine. And he had been instructed to bring Rama quickly, without delay. So he was in a hurry. So he did not want any delay at all. So he immediately told Rama, Rama, Mother Kaikeyi and your father have both asked me to bring you quickly to the palace of that queen, of Kaikeyi's palace. They have sent me on that mission here. I have hurried here very fast in order not to even delay for even a second for the same purpose. As soon as he heard these words, Rama turned towards Sita and said, Sita, this is a sign of some obstacle. But It's nothing else, just a sign of obstacle. I'm not unaware of this. Okay, in other words, he's saying, I'm aware of this, is what he's saying. Remember, he is the one who told Kaikeyi earlier, right? So he says, I'm not unaware of this, but, I kept silent and said yes to everything so that Appa may be happy. But, for Appa's orders have to be honored, respected. And if I don't do that, then I'll put him through tremendous pain. So, while Rama was talking like this, now, along these lines, Sumantra was hearing all this, even though Rama was talking to Sita, and Sumantra could not fathom what on earth Rama was talking about. So his heart was beating very fast. He was trying to interpret Rama's words. And the picture of Dasaratha lying there in Kaikeyi's palace, crying and weeping and sobbing, that picture came through his mind. Now, he was convinced now in his mind that the obstacle that Rama spoke about was indeed genuine. Now, Sita interrupted Rama and said, "Oh, my lord, what are you talking about? On this auspicious occasion, you should not speak like this. Just the way any wife will tell husband, on an auspicious occasion, don't say, inauspicious things. Don't speak like this. Whatever the obstacle, our father-in-law's words must be honored. If he is happy and content, then we are content and happy. For his sake," now she is continuing. Look how she is speaking. Because she is Mahalakshmi. And she says, for his sake, he says, for the sake of father-in-law, we must give up, renounce whatever has to be given up. Beautifully she speaks. Don't hesitate even a little, Rama. Don't even hesitate even a little bit. Go immediately. Now, she's speaking now as if she is able to see the future. How beautifully she speaks. She continues. Whether the coronation takes place or not, Rama, we will be equally happy. Mother Kaikeyi has got so much love towards you. Now, anything that she asks us to do, any orders that she gives us, that will be for our own good only. Don't doubt it. There is no one here on this earth who is so much concerned about our welfare as Mother Kaikeyi is. When father-in-law, when Appa and Amma like this, they have sent word that you should go immediately to them. How happy we should be that they have called you. Come on. Saying this, how beautifully Sita speaks. She knows, presages what Rama gives her a clue. She picks it up and she elaborates on it. And then, talking like this, Sita followed Rama to the main door of the hall. And then she wished him well. The beautiful example of how a Dharma Patni should behave and relate to her Bharta. Husband also should conduct himself according to Dharma, and his wife also should conduct herself according to Dharma. That's what makes a life worth living. That is how beautiful example here in this scene, if you can picture it, what happened. While going away, Rama told her, Sita, don't I know all this, all the things that you have been telling me? I know this. For me, Rama continues, the days that have gone by and the days that are around us right now and the days that are yet to come, they are all the same. There is no difference. I welcome each day with full joy. This is Rama's instruction to us, that when he speaks like this, how does Bhagavan, how does the sun rise every day? Does it get frustrated? Does it complain? Does it say, I'm bored, I'm underutilized, underemployed? Nothing like that. Every day you welcome it with full joy because it's a prasadam. It's a gift from Bhagavan. And then he continues. He says, to uphold the fame and reputation of my father, I am prepared to do anything. And then he says, almost like predicting the future, he says, I'm prepared to go anywhere. He says, Sita, I'm indeed very happy, immensely happy that you share my feeling and you second my resolution. Imagine when the wife is in one and full harmony with the husband and wishes him well and thinks along the same lines, does not put any obstacles on these matters. How that is what soulmates are made of. And that's how he addresses Sita. I'm so happy that you also second my resolution. You also feel the same way. And then Rama went out of the palace accompanied by Sumantra. Now he got up on the chariot along with Sumantra. As he was going on the streets, people were shouting, Jai, 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 Ramachandra ki, Prabhu ki Jai. They're shouting and the noise resounded from the sky because the whole crowd is shouting Jai. Then Sumantra spoke to the people as the chariot was moving, weaving its way through, because it was not like it could go very fast. Everybody was surrounding the chariot. When Bhagavan comes, it cannot go very fast. Everybody is surrounding. They want to take a look at darshan of Rama. So it is moving slowly only. So Sumantra spoke to them and said, now the chariot is not taking Ramachandra to the coronation hall. It is taking him to where Maharaja Dasaratha is. So please allow the chariot to go as fast as it should. Now Rama will return in a few minutes. Please wait here. That's what he was telling the people. So Sumantra explained the reason why they want to go fast. And then people gave way, and then he drove very fast. When Rama was proceeding along the streets to the palace of Kaikeyi in this divine chariot, and as soon as people saw him and sighted him as the chariot was speeding by, they all cheered and shouted Jai, 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 Jai and all. And ministers were all present. There were poets present. There were attendants present. They were all singing songs and bhajans in praise of Rama. And people started playing music. All the musical instruments, people were holding immediately. As soon as they saw Rama, they were playing music. And everywhere there was only the sound Jai, 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 Jai can be heard. And women were wearing, of course, beautifully attired in best of clothes and wearing jewelry, and they were all standing on the terraces of the houses, and they were looking through the windows. And when Rama passed by, they were waving the lamps, doing arati to him when Rama passed by. Then when he finally approached the Queen Kaikeyi's palace, they all showered flowers on him, flower petals, like a rain, a shower of petals, flower petals falling on him. They waved arati, the lamps, sacred lamps in front of him. And they just could not even blink their eye. They gazed at him, looked at him without even blinking. So such a beautiful, charming avataram. When you see, you don't want to blink your eye. And so they tried to recall the picture as if a photograph has been taken in their mind of Rama sitting in the chariot. And the picture of Rama in the chariot, they could imprint it in their mind and their heart. And then as Rama passed by, they just stood there without stirring, because the picture of Rama in the chariot was imprinted, embedded in their heart. And they were contemplating and recalling and thinking about that moment when Bhagavan passed through. Then the chariot went into the area where Dasaratha's palace was. Dasaratha's palace name was called Vardhamana, and it was as majestic and huge in size as Mount Kailas itself. It was so big. And then it passed through, there were 3 quadrangles there near Vardhamana, and there were various archers, the gods were there in the various quadrangles. It passed by all them. Then Rama got down from the chariot. Then 2 more quadrangles he had to cross to go to Queen Kaikeyi's palace. He did that on foot. He didn't ride it on a chariot. Then as he was walking, he told all his companions, and even Lakshmana, who was accompanying, he said, please stay back. Because Rama knew what was about to happen. But in spite of all this, he was acting like a human being, as naturally as anybody would under the circumstances. His father had called me, so I am going. That's the impression he was giving, even though he knew what was going to happen. That's why he asked even Lakshmana to stay behind. Then he entered the apartments of the queens and the place where Dasaratha had fallen on the bed. Then, with Swami's grace, we will continue tomorrow at the same time. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.